So I've had a real pleasure in sitting here with Tom Deweese at Red Pill Expo. And Tom Deweese is a subject matter expert on the Agenda 21, 2030, you name it today, whatever the label is. But he's a subject matter expert on communism infiltrating our policies and taking away our individual liberties and freedoms and property, more specifically. And so one of the things I wanted to ask is, how much time do you think we have, Tom?
Wow, that's one to start with. Well, first of all, as a lot of people say, the election of Donald Trump gave us, a reprieve. But the other thing he did was he energized a lot of people who were not inactive before. And I think it's our duty to keep those people involved and keep feet to the fire. I do see things happening. I mean, I'm the Pollyanna, I always say, of this movement, because I see, the good. I see victories, even if they're little tiny ones. They're important. Yeah, and I am, as I've been working on these issues with Agenda 21 and so forth, for all these years we were ignored and, degraded and so forth. I'm getting phone calls now from elected officials who are saying, what do we do to stop this? I've even gotten calls from people in planning commissions and lots and lots of activists out there and so forth. So, and talking with several people here at the Expo, we feel there's something in the air. The time is right for us to push back. Right. So those give me all optimism. Put a date on it, I don't know, but I as long as I'm alive, I'm going to fight. Okay. So the next question I have is, as you understand, the Constitution is enumerated. In other words, the federal government only has a very specific list of powers delegated by the states. And so they're doing all sorts of things that are unconstitutional. The EPA, Department of Energy, the BLM, Department of Interior, and all of these things, which are working with a lot of the Agenda 21, 2030 policies and programs that are trying to infiltrate down the local level, states, and so forth. And so I guess the question I have is, as these enumerated powers are being violated because the federal government is usurping these, is there anything other than Republic Review that you see that could actually put the federal government back into the framework of the Constitution? I don't see anything specific as a program that can do that, how we're working on. We've got lots of different ideas, nullification, things like that. But, those agencies are there, and until we can do something about having a president or having a Congress that begins to diminish them and that they're unconstitutional, be there. I think, what I talk about when I speak with people about what to do is working on the local level. And if you can begin, for example, the issue of sustainable development, which encompasses all these things you're talking about, can't be implemented without destroying private property. And if you can just take that one thing, just wrap your head around that, and focus on that and do some things in your own community to preserve property rights, that moves up. And the elected officials love to get in front of the parade. And if you can begin to make an issue out of something like that on your local level, eventually, and if you have some victories at it, eventually you may see some state legislators start to say, hey, here's an idea, and eventually that can move up to Congress. But you've got to do it there, and I fully believe with everything in me that if we can preserve freedom, private property on a local level, we can preserve freedom as a nation eventually.
Right. Well, so first off, I want to personally thank you for writing the backword for my executive summary on the academic argument for Republic Review. When I first broached this subject with you, what were your thoughts, or actually as you've analyzed this, what are your thoughts on Republic Review?
Well, as I told you when I was looking at it, at first I started to think, oh golly, is he really starting to talk about a constitutional convention and all that kind of stuff, and absolutely not, But as you've explained it to me, and as I read through your document and so forth, I saw working in the states with the state legislatures being the ones that start to push back, not in some big document, but in their actions, that is the way to go with it, and that's the way you can control it.
Right. Well, so as you know, I'm trying to do these rodeos, and I look forward to the day when maybe we can stand shoulder to shoulder in trying to connect the state legislators to the electorate so that the electorate understands this duty that these people, these men and women, hold in protecting them from federal tyranny. And so I'm hoping that when I do this in August, you'll be there.
Send the invitation. I'll be there. Yeah.
I'm hoping to do this the first weekend of August, and so with all of that, I really appreciate your backward, and I appreciate your support. Is there anything else, though, that other than auditing the Constitution and calling the federal government out against these egregious violations of the Constitution, is there anything else you think that might actually help?
Well, first of all, let me say, in talking about your proposal, and what you're really talking about is in instituting the 10th Amendment, that the states stand up, and that's what's vitally important. People just have to be active. What we hear all the time, these public meetings, putting these things in place, everything, people aren't there, and only the ones who are promoting these bad things are there.
Right.
We have got to get engaged. If we don't do that, we're going to lose it. There's no way to save it by sitting at home and doing nothing.
Well, as I keep on saying on my radio show, folks, what is it going to take? What will it take to motivate you to stand up for your liberties and to save our Constitution? Thanks again, Tom, for your time.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.